Hi, I'm HME News Executive Editor Mike Moran. I'm here today with Doug Harrison, the CEO and President of the Scooter Store. And Doug, let's talk a little bit about just the market in general. I mean, for mobility, there's been a lot of reimbursement cuts, and providers have a hard time tackling them and adjusting. What has the Scooter Store done to sort of become more efficient and to operate effectively within, this new market?
All right. Well, hi, Mike. It's glad to be here with you. As you say, we've had reimbursement cuts. Now we're at 36% and climbing that we've seen in the mobility business. As in lots of the whole industry's been under pricing pressure. Yeah. What we've done specifically is we've gone through every part of our cost structure to look for things that we can cut. Mm-hmm. Our business is 18 years old. We had the luxury of operating our first 13 or 14 years without ever having to do cost management. Yep. We just, for the first part of our life cycle, there wasn't any problem we couldn't grow our way out of. We just grew bigger, and we had the luxury of having a higher reimbursement, and things just worked out. Particularly triggered by our issues back and forth with Medicare, and then highlighted by the big 27% cut in October of 2006. We were making an 8% margin and had to survive a 27% cut, which was undoable. But we did everything. We tightened up benefits. We went through and got very aggressive about all of our employees. We had a lot of very beloved, long-time employees that just weren't producing anymore. We'd never really done any pruning to take out people that weren't producing. We had to get a lot more hardline business-like about saying, if you're not producing, we love you, but you got to go. We went to all of our vendors, cut price, and not just the Pride, Invacare, Sunrise guys, every vendor, Office Depot, our bank, our electric company, our landlord, and everybody we paid money to and said, guys, we're in a squeeze, we need help. And we had a few that wouldn't give us anything, but across the board, we got help from pretty much every vendor that we squeezed some extra discounts, some extra money.
They were willing to work with you.
Yeah, it was no choice. We painted a picture that was very real, saying if they couldn't help us some, we were going away. So
you guys the Scooter Store did a lot of the things that people have been telling providers they need to do for a long time. I mean, because like you said, when reimbursement was robust, it seemed like there was no situation that the industry couldn't sort of grow itself out of.
Yeah, you could just adapt to it, and as an industry, by and large, one of the things we can talk about is we give away a ton of services for free, and we're just expected to do all those things for free. But we were able to just maybe cut back on some services here and there, and we're still profitable. At a 27% cut level, it was real cutting. You had to cut to the bone and take out things and procedures and policies we were following that didn't need to be there anymore, and so everything had to be on the table. But pay, I cut my pay in half. Our employees took a benefits cut, took some bonus cuts. I mean, everything was up on the table, and said, you got to do what you got to do to cut costs.
Did that affect the work culture at the Scooter Store negatively?
It certainly had the potential to. I have a strong belief for our employees. Our employees own 40% of the business, so our employees are employee owners. And so I try to talk to them like owners. But frankly, before we gave them ownership of the company, we tried to talk to them like they're owners anyway. And in a nutshell, what that means, we try to over-communicate. Right. So while we're going through the price cuts back in October of 2006, everybody's getting at least a weekly email from me. We're completely open with our books. We've always been open book management to all of our employees, so they see all the numbers. And as scary as it was, sometimes I think the biggest fear is fear of the unknown. Right. And the fact that we made everything known, here's what's going on, here's what we're doing to address it, here's how you can help, I really think brought our culture together more than broke it apart.
That's interesting. You keep everybody on the same page and informed, so they know what's going on.
Absolutely, and it worked for us.
How about going forward? Do you think we're going to continue to see more reimbursement cuts? I mean, where do you think, how are you preparing the Scooter Store, say, if you're looking down 5 years, I mean, what kind of changes might we see at the Scooter Store that might be in the works to sort of adapt? And I mean, where is the industry going, and how are you guys adapting to it?
I think the industry as a whole, the whole industry, not just power mobility, the whole industry, the baby boomer wave is coming to us starting in a year and a half. 2011, the baby boomers start turning 65. These are the same baby boomers who used to buy $3,000 PCs, and the PC makers that said, let's get in a race to build a $1,000 PC, won. Yep. The Packard Bells won, the Hewlett Packards lost. Dell won, IBM Compaq lost. IBM and Compaq are saying nobody wants a $1,000 PC, they want a $2,500 PC with more features. The guys that said, no, everybody that buys anything wants to buy it cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, those guys succeeded and won big. My prediction over the next 5 years for everything Medicare pays for is it's going to be way less than it is today.
You mean that, like what you buy it for as a provider will be less?
I think I think at some point Medicare's not going to pay $4,000 for a power chair. They're going to pay $2,000, and as soon as they get $2,000, they're going to want to pay $1,000. And as long as we build up for that race, right, and say, how do we get? We're more or less in the same race the PC guys were saying. How do you get to a $1,000 PC? Back when PCs were $4,000 or $5,000, I think we're in the same race. Say, how do we get to where we can sell a power chair and be profitable, right, for a $1,000 power chair?
Well, that's right. Right now, you can buy a Macintosh or an Apple computer for $2,000. You can get a PC for $500.
Yeah, well, we just got my daughter a laptop at Walmart for $600,
that's right,
and it has software, and it was unthinkable 10 years ago. Right. But as an industry, as a business, we've got to start thinking that way, saying, how do we? Medicare's buying us our products. It's one of the world's largest consumers is the U.S. government. They buy a lot of it. We ought to be able to give them better price and better price and better price every year.
Yeah, and that's right. And manufacturers and other industries have been able to do that. And you would think that we're going to see, I know there's a move afoot in our industry for mobility manufacturers, wheelchairs, to limit the number of bases they have so they become more efficient on the manufacturing front, which in a sense could drive down the prices. And just like everything, the technology doesn't become a commodity, but it becomes less expensive over time.
Absolutely. Technology, and which breeds efficiency, breeds cost reduction, which gives you better customer satisfaction, whether your customer's PC buyer or CMS.
Yeah. All right. Great, Doug. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Sure.